Hi, I'm Awkward Katie. I'm awkward and I'm Katie. Welcome to my channel. One of my goals for this year is to read 100 books. I do read pretty fast and I do read pretty often, so I don't think I'll have any issues with that. I think I can do it. At the same time, I am of course recording my progress on Goodreads like most people are, but I'm also recording my progress in this beautiful reading journal that I got from Conquest Journals. Book Talk made me buy it. I love this journal. It is giving me a place to keep track of all the books that I'm reading and keep track of my thoughts on each book as I'm reading it. There's a section where you can do a little review, star rating for each element, and I'm really enjoying that. So I figured at the same time, I might as well share those reviews with some of you guys. So as I go through this journey, I am going to be taking you guys along with me, giving you my thoughts on these books. Okay, this is my personal opinion. You know what they say about opinions, so take it all with a grain of salt. The first book I'm going to be reviewing this year is Iron Flame. I know, I'm a little bit late to the game on this one, but hear me out, okay? I actually read Fourth Wing a while back, but a lot of people told me that the ending of this book is going to piss me off. So I intentionally put it off for quite a while until very recently, because as you probably already know, the Onyx Storm release is imminent. I think at the time of I'm recording this, it is T-minus 10 days till we get to hold Onyx Storm in our grubby little pots. Now, I'm not going to get into theories and things like that and specifics in these videos. I'm going to try to keep all of these reviews spoiler free. I read the physical copy of this book, obviously. I also listened to the dramatized adaptation by Graphic Audio as well. The first half of this book was really frustrating, you know, and I think it's meant to be that way, but it came through. There is some really, really satisfying moments that I very thoroughly enjoyed. I really liked how we kind of expanded on the world. We kind of got to see some more cultures, some more countries. We got to expand on what we got in the first book. There were a lot of themes of inner and outer strengths, the strengths of our bonds with our friends, our familial bonds, the bonds with the dragon. There was a lot of bonds. I felt like the tension, the pacing, the structure, they were all really, really good. We got some character development. Everybody and their mother are dissecting this book right now. We have theories. We've got tinfoil hats on. There's so much material, so much that we don't know. And I think that really speaks a lot about the talent and skill of this author. Rebecca Yarros did an incredible job at breadcrumbing us just enough that we can develop all of these theories, but still not know all the answers, still be desperate and dying for Onyx Storm, which we are. Overall, I gave Iron Flame a 4.7 stars out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I honestly like this one better than I liked Fourth Wing, and if you have not read these, I do highly recommend them. They are great. The second book that I am reviewing this year is Winterwood by Shay Earnshaw. This one was cute, it was witchy, it was kind of a palate cleanser for me. I did listen to the audiobook on Audible. I'm gonna be honest, this one did not really pull me in. I didn't hate it, but I certainly did not love it. It was not for me. It is YA fantasy. Now, it was pretty predictable. Without spoiling anything, the ending really hit on a big book pet peeve of mine. It kind of felt like a cop-out. I did really love the lore, the world building, the setting. The author did a really good job of using setting as a character in this one. It was cozy. It was whimsical. The characters, they were pretty okay. There wasn't a ton of development. Structure was fine. I felt like it had tons of potential, but I don't really think it really lived up to that potential. Overall, I gave Winterwood a 3 stars out of 5. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but I wouldn't tell you not to read it. If you feel like it's something that you're interested in, go for it. Book 3 that I'm going to be reviewing this year is Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. This one is a fantasy romance. I loved this book. I really, really enjoyed this. I thought it was so good. I originally started this book as a way of kind of winding down at the end of the day when I was trying to go to sleep in bed, but that kind of backfired on me because this book got way too exciting for me to keep doing that. It wasn't helping me sleep. It was just getting me wound up. I had to go with a different book. I ended up just gobbling up the second half of this book. I could not put it down. There was a lot of dramatic irony, a lot of points when you as the reader realize something that the character has not realized yet. And it was very, very frustrating. But in reality, it was completely fair for the character not to be knowing that right at that moment. You know, they were in denial. And that is a theme that we see a lot in this book. This person is in denial about who they are. These people are in denial about them being exactly like the people that they hate. Everyone's in denial. But that kind of made these characters really realistic and really relatable, because we're all, let's be honest, we're all in denial about something. Even though the context and the world that they live in is very much unrealistic. On that point, the lore and the world building in this, I thought was really well done. It was kind of something that I feel like I had never really seen before. It was very new, very creative, but it was still familiar enough that I wasn't like on tilt trying to figure it out. Yeah, I was so captivated by this book. I think about it all the time. I have already got the second one. I'm going to be reading that one and probably the third one this year. And then I will be with many of you impatiently waiting for the fourth one, because as far as I know, we don't have a release date yet. I gave Spark of the Everflame 4.7 stars out of 5. I highly recommend this one. The fourth book that I will be reviewing this year is Forged in Blood by Sadie Kincaid. I would classify this one as like a dark-ish paranormal romance. It's definitely got fantasy elements, dark romance elements, paranormal elements. It's pretty spicy. I give it like a 6 out of 10 spicy peppers. It doesn't read like a fantasy. It just has fantasy elements in it. It's not super dark themed. Like, check your trigger warnings anyway. Now, don't get me wrong, I liked this one, but I didn't love it. I'm a fantasy reader. This one reads kind of like a dark romance, which is nothing wrong with that. It's just not to my personal taste. You know, it wasn't like it wasn't well done. It was well done. It was just the writing style did not quite hit for me. Like, they say juicy tits a lot. A lot. And like I said, there are some fantasy elements, but it just didn't hit for me like other fantasy books do, and that's fine. The world building was pretty good. I liked the lore and the history that we had in here. The magic system's pretty neat. Lots of different creatures, like there often are in these fantasy books. It was definitely interesting. I liked our characters. It was very hot. I love a bisexual reverse harem. Who doesn't? Probably somebody, but I do. And as far as like the story goes, it left a pretty good trail to the second book. Like, it definitely left you wanting more. You had some unanswered questions, but it resolved enough of the story to leave you feeling satisfied at the end of the book, knowing that there's another book to explain those unanswered questions. Overall, I gave this one 3.1 stars. I do recommend it, especially if you're into dark romance, but you kind of want to lean towards the fantasy side, those paranormal elements, and it was really good spice. I did like it, you know. Book review number 5 for this year is one that is a little different from what I normally see on Bookstagram and BookTok and all that. It's one I don't hear people talking about a lot. We are reviewing Another Fine Myth by Robert Asprin. One of my goals for this year is actually to delve a little bit more into some of the classic fantasy books, into the roots of fantasy, the modern roots. Obviously, we know that fantasy has been around for a long time, a lot longer than the 70s and 80s, but you get the point. Anyway, this one has been around for a long time. This was published in 1978. This is a series that my dad really liked. I've been looking for this series for a long time, and it's really hard to find. Apparently, it's pretty niche. You can get it on Amazon. There are some that are as low as $10, but most of the paperbacks on Amazon were actually like vintage copies. They were going for upwards of like $50+. That's a lot of money for me for a mass market paperback, especially trying to read as many books as I'm reading this year. That was just too much. So I did find this one on Audible. It is in the Plus catalog, so it's free if you have an Audible membership. And I think it's something like $10 if you don't, which is a lot more reasonable. It's a pretty quick read. The audiobook was like 6 hours, but it was so much fun. It was witty, it was funny, it was lighthearted, you know, it did not take itself too seriously. I really, really had a good time reading this one. I mean, all of the books in this series, all the titles are puns. There's Another Fine Myth, Myth Inc. in action, myth direction, myth conceptions. That's what you're getting in for. That is the vibe that we are looking at. It's just puns and a little bit of potty humor. The characters are really goofy. They are often inept, but they step up to the plate when they need to. We get the job done when the plot needs us to. The myth communications in this book are comical, not frustrating. Dialogue is hysterical. It breaks the tension when it needs to, and there is tension, there is high stakes, but they keep it light, they keep it funny. It is quick, it is witty, it is fun. I gave this one 4.6 stars. I really enjoyed it, and I do recommend it quite a bit. Okay guys, I forgot to record an outro. My bad. Look, it's my first YouTube video, cut me some slack. I did warn you that this was going to be awkward. Anyway, this has been Book Talk with Awkward Katie. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know down below what books you'd like to hear about. Okay, thanks, bye!